The Indonesian government has included in its national long-term development plan the implementation of the green economy. Now, within this framework is the paradigm of a circular economy, which rethinks our entire approach to how we answer the three basic economic questions of what will be produced, how will it be produced, and to whom it will be produced and distributed for. Now, to explain this paradigm and perhaps any future collaborations that Indonesia and the Indonesian government might have with external stakeholders, we are now with Vassara, the ambassador for circular economy and energy of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Finland, and Riku Makela, the senior director of development partners, or what is your
global initiative
of global initiatives?
Yes.
Senior director of global initiatives of Business Finland. Anna, Riku, thank you so much for taking the time to be interviewed by us, today at the ASEAN Circular Economy Forum 2023. First of all, just to explain to the public, Anna, can you explain to us what the circular economy is, as well as its importance, and how it helps with the fight against the current climate crisis that we are facing?
Thank you for the invitation. Yes, circular economy. I would like to look at circular economy in the context of the triple crisis that we are living with climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution, and this urgent crisis which we need to tackle globally. And circular economy in this context, where we have a lot of natural crises and very difficult situations globally, a circular economy can bring us positive solutions. Circular economy is not the silver bullet for everything, but it can help in each of these crises. Of course, to tackle climate change, we need drastic cuts in emissions. We need to transition from fossil fuels to renewable fuels. This is a necessity, absolutely. But circular economy in this context can help. And if we think about how we produce and how we consume today, we should look at circular economy in the sense that how you produce all the products that you put in the landfills that you don't use anymore. Every time you lose valuable raw materials, and when the products were produced, you had emissions, you used natural resources which are scarce, and we should use less than we use today. So circular economy, keeping the raw materials, the natural resources in the loop, as we say, closing the loop. This is really an essential element of how we can tackle this crisis.
And Riku, as we know, Indonesia prioritizes 5 sectors in implementing the circular economy, which are food and beverage, construction, textile, retail, and electronics. Can you talk to us about the business opportunities in the circular economy, particularly in Indonesia and perhaps also around the world? On top of helping to preserve the environment, can it also improve our business, our revenues, and so forth?
Really good question, because nothing happens without financial benefits for stakeholders, except if regulation pushes the change towards that. So the change towards green future, it's a combination of regulatory change, technologies and kind of businesses utilizing technologies, and financing. And financing will flow after regulatory changes have happened and when people start seeing the benefits. And then let me give you kind of one simple example of the 9 R's and kind of a partly answer to your question. So one of the companies here, which is a startup company. It's an Indonesian-Finnish startup company called Block Solutions. So they produce blocks for construction to replace tiles or concrete for wall construction. And those blocks are made from plastics that they collect. So it's waste plastic, and they then generate building blocks for walls of the buildings from those blocks. So this is about repurposing of existing materials that have been taken from the earth earlier, and they are now being repurposed through a certain kind of innovative process into new building materials. So that's about repurposing or reusing the material that is flowing, like Anne mentioned, that it's about reusing what we have taken from Earth. Because the circular economy is about avoiding taking new materials and resources from the Earth, using what we have. So a circular economy, it's a lot about new business models. Figuring out how to use the existing resources, not digging new ones from the Earth and selling new things always, but figuring out how to share more, how to reuse more, repurpose more. Or another example that is really common already in Indonesia, but this is not new. Circular economy is not a new thing. So all the repairs we do for broken equipment, broken machines and so on, that's about circular economy.
Right.
We don't throw a broken piece of equipment away, we repair it. So we are reusing existing things if we can repair it. And then nowadays many manufacturers have started to manufacture equipment, machines, electronics that are hard to repair or impossible to repair, and that's bad. So things have to be repairable, and that's part of what businesses are now looking for, how to make repairable things and how to build additional business for repairs.
So really it's all about changing business strategies, changing business directions to ensure that whatever product is produced, that it doesn't have to be replaced necessarily, but maintained and maintained for a long time, such that we don't have to extract do these activities or partake in these activities that are harmful to the environment, such as extracting materials and using unclean or non-renewable energy to produce and to maintain those things.
Yes, and if I may say, in addition to, like for instance, here in this conference, there has been a lot of discussion about what do we do about waste. But when we want to think about circular economy, it would be good to start thinking already before a product is produced. How is it designed? What are the materials that are going to be used for the product? Because in due course, when the product gets designed in a way that the materials are reusable or they are of good quality, which allows for them to be repairable, they can be then used for other purposes, and they stay in the use as long as possible. This allows in long term to really drastically reduce waste, and this is the direction where it would be good to direct the economic activity.
Okay. And your participation in the ASEAN Circular Economy Forum, as you mentioned earlier, is part of, let's say, preaching the paradigm of a circular economy. What significant collaborations do you see potentially between Indonesia and Finnish businesses and EU businesses in relation to the circular economy?
If I start, so one real example, I don't want to say concrete example, because concrete is one of the big culprits for CO2 emissions, because it uses lots of fossil energy and it's just bad for environment. That's why we need new construction materials or friendly or concrete solutions. So one thing that you are doing here is the new capital of Nusantara. And it's going to be circular city, as circular as possible. That's what we have heard. We are highly interested in being part of that process, and actually we are already partnering with some of the actors who are instrumental in that development. And then, in addition of hoping that we could offer some of our existing innovative solutions that can help in making the city circular, we also want to learn. because in existing cities, it's really hard to make systemic change because you have infrastructure, you have people living in there, you have businesses there, everything is in place. You cannot change the whole city. You can maybe change a block or a building or a floor of a building or how you collect waste, but you cannot change everything. So we want to learn and also participate in researching and finding out how this development could help also rest of the world for doing things better. So that's one example.
Yeah, for sure. So ASEAN has formed numerous initiatives to support the development of circular economy. As we touched on earlier, particularly with Indonesia's long-term development plan, such as the framework for circular economy for the ASEAN, have they been helpful, in your opinion, in supporting collaborations with EU countries and particularly Finland, especially on a G2G level?
This is actually one thing what I think it is not directly a government-to-government initiative, but I see extremely important the possibilities of creating or making more flourish these circular economy hubs, like ASEAN countries here in the Southeast Asia, different interlocutors, organizations who work related to circular economy. There is in Europe there are organizations. In Latin America, there are different organizations who get together and work in a sort of a network. There is this kind of network in Africa.
Okay. And a final question for the both of you. Do you feel optimistic about the prospects of the circular economy being implemented worldwide fully?
If I start, because I was moderating a couple of sessions in this forum, and then I was asking the audience that what's their belief. So consensus was that we believe that change will be to better, and that requires everybody to start doing their part and start collaborating, but we were hopeful. So based on that and based on my own beliefs, I believe that change can happen fast enough for better future for all of us. But everybody has to start thinking about it and start acting as soon as possible.
Okay. Any final thoughts as well?
Well, I agree. I voted also for the positive option that circular economy will advance, and I think even though as humankind we have done a lot of mistakes, but I think that we will understand finally that what is a necessity. We will have to move forward with solutions to these crises that we are all facing. I think the sense of urgency is there. So I believe that we will be able to arrive to a better tomorrow.
I hope so as well. Anna, Riku, thank you so much for your time in doing this interview with us today at the ASEAN Circular Economy Forum. And that was our conversation with Anna Vassara, the Ambassador for Circular Economy and Energy of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Finland, as well as Riku Makela of Business Finland. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.